When you look at the crypto space, it feels like there's a blockchain for just about everything. Gaming, memes, AI, you name it, there's a chain for it. But today, we're going to look at a project that isn't trying to do everything. In fact, FOGO is a blockchain with this really intense, singular focus to become the Wall Street for crypto, built for pure, unadulterated speed. Okay, so right off the bat, I know what you're thinking. It's the big question, isn't it? With so many blockchains all claiming to be the next ultra-fast solution, do we really need another one? Is FOGO just more noise in an already crowded room, or is there something genuinely different going on here? Well, FOGO is betting everything that the answer is a big fat yes. But, and this is the crucial twist, it's not about being the fastest for everything. It's about being the absolute fastest and most reliable for one thing and one thing only: trading. So let's actually get into what makes FOGO tick. This isn't really a story about hype or memes. It's a story about plumbing, about infrastructure, and it was built by people who came from the world of traditional finance, who looked at crypto and saw a massive, fundamental problem that needed fixing. Here's probably the best way to think about it. Most blockchains out there, they're kind of like a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, they can do a whole lot of different things, but they aren't really specialized for any single task. And for everyday stuff, that's fine. But when you need absolute precision, they can get slow and super unpredictable. FOGO, on the other hand, is a scalpel. It's designed with one purpose in mind: to be incredibly fast, stable, and reliable for trading. So what is FOGO, really, under the hood? Well, it's a Layer 1 blockchain built from the ground up for high-frequency trading. And here's a really smart move they made. It's compatible with the Solana virtual machine. Now, this is huge because it makes it way, way easier for developers in Solana's massive ecosystem to just pick up their apps and bring them over to FOGO. And here is the core promise, the big number that everything is built around. FOGO is aiming for block times of just 40 milliseconds. Now, to put that in perspective, that is literally faster than the blink of an eye. It's the kind of raw performance you absolutely need for high-frequency trading, where every single millisecond can be the difference between making a profit and taking a loss. Okay, so 40 milliseconds is a cool number, but what does that speed actually get you? What can you do with it? Well, it basically enables a whole new level of on-chain activity. We're talking about order books that update instantly, real-time derivatives trading, liquidations that happen in a flash. Essentially, it allows DeFi markets to finally feel as smooth and responsive as a huge centralized exchange like Binance or even a traditional stock market. Now, of course, like any Layer 1 blockchain, FOGO has its own native token. So let's take a quick look at its tokenomics, which, to their credit, are designed to be really clear and straightforward. The total supply is capped at 10 billion tokens. Right now, about 3.8 billion of those are actually in circulation. But here's the key thing to notice. The majority of the supply, over 6 billion tokens, is still locked up. Those tokens are going to be released slowly over several years. That's pretty standard playbook, right? It's designed to encourage long-term stability and growth.
And what does the token actually do? Well, its utility is simple and classic. There are three main jobs. First, you use it to pay for transaction fees on the network. Second, you can stake it to help secure the network and, of course, earn rewards. And third, it's used for governance, which lets token holders vote on the future direction of the project. Nothing revolutionary here, it's just a solid, tried-and-true model for a Layer 1.
Okay, so FOGO has this really clear mission, but, and this is a big but, it's not operating in a vacuum. It's basically stepping into a gladiator arena with some absolute giants. So let's see how it actually stacks up against the competition. So who's in the ring with them? Well, you've got the big one, Solana, which is already super fast and has a massive established ecosystem. You have other specialized chains like Say, which is also going after traders, but it uses a different technical approach for how it processes transactions. And then, of course, you've got all of Ethereum's Layer 2s, which have that incredible security from the mainnet. But FOGO's bet is that its obsessive, almost fanatical focus on one thing, building the absolute best, lowest latency plumbing just for trading, gives it the edge. And that right there, that really is the entire philosophy in a nutshell. The goal isn't to win the title of fastest blockchain overall. It's to be the best blockchain for trading. And that one little distinction, it's everything. So look, the promise is obviously huge, but we've got to be realistic here. This is crypto, right? And we all know that amazing tech doesn't automatically guarantee success. So let's take a clear-eyed look at what the future could hold for FOGO, including the very serious risks it's up against.
The road ahead is anything but easy. FOGO is basically driving straight into a buzzsaw of competition. And there's this giant chasm it has to cross. It needs to attract real users and, more importantly, deep liquidity. Without those two things, the best technology in the world can't save it. Because at the end of the day, as we've seen a million times in this space, cool tech is just not enough.
So let's talk best case scenario. What does winning look like for FOGO? Well, in this world, FOGO absolutely delivers on its promise. It becomes the foundational layer, the go-to plumbing for high-speed DeFi. It attracts all the on-chain derivatives, massive pools of liquidity, and maybe, just maybe, even gets institutions on board who are looking for that Wall Street-grade performance on-chain. Then there's the middle ground, which is probably a more realistic outcome for any new project, right? In this scenario, FOGO doesn't conquer the entire crypto world, but it successfully carves out its own stable, dedicated niche. It becomes the go-to chain for very specific types of trading markets that need its unique speed, and it grows slowly but steadily within that community.
And of course, we have to talk about the worst case. This is the scenario where FOGO just can't get that critical mass of traders and liquidity it needs to survive. It ends up as a ghost chain, another name on a long list of promising layer ones that had great tech but just couldn't break through all the noise.
So this brings us to the final and I think most crucial question. Now that we've looked at the tech, the token, the competition, and all the potential outcomes, it's time to kind of zoom out and think about the bigger picture.
And if there's one thing you take away from this whole explainer, it should probably be this. FOGO's entire strategy isn't about winning on memes or hype. It's a pure, unadulterated performance play. Its entire future hinges on its ability to be demonstrably better, faster, and more reliable at one single thing: executing trades. If it can actually do that, it might not need to compete on anything else.
So I want to leave you with this direct question to think about. Do you believe the future of on-chain trading belongs to these hyper-specialized, purpose-built blockchains like FOGO? Or will the big all-in-one giants like Solana, which already have these massive ecosystems and network effects, just end up absorbing all that activity and dominating in the long run? That really is the billion-dollar question here.